This week in car audio. Tune in. What we talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings, you ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, and your new co-host, Mr. Jeffrey Fernandez. What's going on, Jeffrey?
Hey, all right. Salutations, everyone.
Salutations. That's new.
Salutations.
If you guys are tuning in right now, please like and share this right away. Let's get this thing moving. Our guest this week, Christopher Munson. If you guys don't know, his father is Nathan Munson. He's been on the show a couple of times talking about the stuff he's done. And now we're going to have Christopher on. And just so you guys know, Christopher is his own person doing his own thing. And he has earned his right to be on here and earned his place in the car audio community. Christopher is his own person. Uh-oh, somebody's got their volume on.
Oh, what's that? Who was that?
Is that you, Jeffrey?
It might have been.
Rookie move. Just saying.
Hey, I'm new, guys. I'm the new guy.
You're the new guy. I'm still sharing off right now. Anyway, so Chris is new at this thing, or he's not new, sorry. He is his own person. He's made his own accomplishments. He has, it is 11 world championships and 18 world records. Welcome, Chris.
Dang.
How's it going?
All right. So let's get this started. Most likely, I'm sure you got involved with this as something with your dad. But tell the listeners and viewers back at home, because once again, we are going to put this out on iHeartRadio and whatnot when we're done here. But tell us how you got started and what's your involvement in the car audio world.
Yeah, sure. Well, the way I got started, I was probably in I'd say about ninth grade or so. And I was needing a summer job. And Dad offered me a job to go work at just the brick and mortar store, doing, at the time, just cleaning up after the guys, doing little jobs around the shop. I wasn't familiar with working on cars. I never really had done it. That's just where I got my start. I started there the first summer, just kind of picking up after the guys, learning things at hand. And then I started installing a little bit and then just took it from there. And, I started in about, like I said, ninth grade. And then by the time I was a senior in high school, I built my Trailblazer. I had an orange Trailblazer. That was really nice. It was all done with stainless and it had a full JL system in it. It was a wall build with 12 tins and it had 12 amplifiers, one per sub. And then it had a few highs amps and it had a lot of fiberglass work and stainless steel work and plexi work in it.
Yeah. Well,
Cool
most of us start out by putting a house speaker in the back seat of our mom's car.
Yeah. When
Guilty as charged.
My first system was it was a single JL 12WO. Our shop sold a lot of JL stuff,
Yep.
A lot of kicker stuff, and my very first system I remember was a little JL 12W0 and like a 300 watt amp, and I thought it was the loudest kid around, and that was my start. I had a little system then, and like everything just took off from there.
All right, so let's mention the people watching right now. We got Moises Alejandre over on YouTube, SQ Sounds, Bridgetown, Barbados. That's Tristan on that side. Over on the Facebook side, I got Stephen Talbot, Mario, Anthony Perella, and three others, it says. Jeff Schultz, Stephen Talbot, Travis Hofstetter, Woody McDonald, all watching right now on the Facebook side. All right, so like I said, some of us didn't have the advantage of having Nathan Munson as our dad. And I do know that you did your own stuff. Nathan really, really talked to me, when we talked about it. And, I was like, hey, man, that's a great job you did with your kid and this and that. And he's like, no. This has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
This is 100% him. And so the first time I saw you compete
Yep.
was in Vegas at the CES Showdown.
Yeah.
And I think you had a box or something.
Well, I had if I remember correctly, I took 2 cars to the very first CES Showdown. I had taken my Trailblazer at the time, the one I built in high school, and then I had my first CRX. It was a little black CRX that was more of an SPL car. It didn't demo, do any of that stuff. It was just more of a, like I said, more of an SPL vehicle. And the demo and the Trailblazer kind of did it all. It was an all around vehicle. It was pretty loud and played really well. So that's where I got my start. Really, was my very first SPL vehicle was actually in high school. Before my CRX, I had an Audi TT, and I tried doing SPL stuff in that, and got tired of tearing that car apart, and saw that CRXs were kind of popular. So I was like, you know what, I'll just get one. They're relatively cheap, and that's where I really started playing with the black car. Learned a lot about SPL, and Dad taught me some tricks along the way, and it got to the point where we were kind of matching each other in, I would say, knowledge, and he started learning tricks from me that I had found in my car that he hadn't quite found yet.
Yep.
But he's still really sharp himself. But there's a lot of tricks that I've learned over the years that I've taught him. But he was the originator. He taught me from the start. So.
Yep. It's it is true. We tell people all the time, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. We have our own accomplishments and this and that, but without the people below us that got us the start in this, and did some of the original testing, especially with like CRXs and whatnot, we would be nowhere near along as far along as we are today with car audio. I mean, there's a wealth of knowledge of people that came before us, right?
Yeah. SPL, I mean, SPL is one thing, but also just knowledge on equipment. It's crazy how much better over, when you look at equipment 20 years ago, how much better the equipment is we have today.
Oh, yes.
The car we have today is far better than what it was 20 years ago.
I just want to say I need to get me a pair of Stroker 18s though one of these times soon, and just kind of see what with today's power what I can do with one of those Strokers, because
the old school ones, right?
Yeah, the old school ones.
Yeah, the old school ones.
Because those things were beast back in the day. There was a significant difference in a Stroker 18 and any other 18. So.
Yeah, they were kind of the Stroker was kind of the originator of a more purpose-built SPL driver at the time. That's really what started, or one of the very first heavy hitters that then people took design from and started building their own off of it.
Yeah, because the excursion you can get with the multi-fold surround that they had. The best thing that the Stroker had, though, was the cone control with the additional spider up on the top, and then the pole, the extended pole piece so that can slide up and down,
Yeah.
So that was huge. Somebody had a question for you right here. Oh, Curtis Maxwell Lyon said that Trailblazer was gosh darn sexy.
So. It was a pretty truck, man. It was neat when it was in its prime. It was pretty nice.
And where is it now then?
It's just sitting at the warehouse right now. It's kind of sitting next to. It's blocked in by a ton of pallets of equipment right now, but it's got nothing in it. It's just got a layer of dust on it. It's sitting there.
And so is that Trailblazer? Is that like your first car, or that's just your first SPL car?
No, my first SPL car was an Audi TT, and then my second SPL car was a CRX, and my Trailblazer was my first big demo build. But what was cool about the Trailblazer is I really wanted to show off my install capability with it. So I really went all out on that truck. I mean, the trim panels in the back, I actually had done out of stainless steel, and then there's a lot of plexi work, and there's a lot of nice work that was done in the Trailblazer just to showcase my installability also.
So that must have been the one that I saw at CES. It must have been a Trailblazer. I thought it was a box or something. I knew it was a square type vehicle. So that must have been that Trailblazer.
Yeah, it was an orange Trailblazer.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
That was it.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell us about your championships. I mean, I got a world champion right here to my left.
Hey.
Yeah. What's up, Jeffrey?
So,
Hey, it's you know, it's a good company. We're in good company here. Got
Yeah.
champions.
Yep.
so tell us about what championships you have, records, all that stuff, please.
So a lot of mine really fall under USAC,
Okay.
and with you, my very first championship was with my black car, my black CRX. And that was kind of my learning as far as CRXs go. That was really my learning curve car. I did a ton of stuff to that car, and towards the end, ended up honestly ruining it, just trying to figure out ways to make it better. And once I found refined ways, that's when I took off with my white CRX. And my white CRX is pretty awesome. I mean, that's what I've got majority of my championships in. Is I've got 8 of those with that car.
Dang.
And then I've got another 3, 2 of them with my trump car. I've had 2 trump cars. The first one was Pigpen, and it was an all out car, so it was unlimited power, unlimited cone area. And at the time, I had 218s, and I had it on about 50,000 watts, and it was pretty loud. It was actually the loudest at the time. Was the loudest trunk car in the world. It
And
did 60 from the trunk.
60 what?
Did 65s from the trunk.
In U.S.A, so that would be the globe on the floor or legal?
Yeah, globe in the kick. It did, and then on the dash, it would do. Depending on how you did it, like Midwest SPL style, which is like on the dash door open, it was like 62s, and on the dash shield, it was 61s.
Okay.
61s.
So in DB drag, it would have did about a 61 sealed.
Yeah, about a 61.5 sealed on a good day.
Dang. That's
So-
legitimate, huh, Jeff?
Oh
It's a
yeah. Anytime, dude, you got little CRX, you're hitting 60s, you're doing something right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pro stock no limit, I believe, was like a 62 this year. I think.
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
Respectable for that class.
Yes, and that I believe was a CRX, right? I don't remember if it was a CRX, but in general, those are typically CRXs.
Yeah.
So, what are your world records? Your what classes were those in?
Oh man, they were in all kinds of the USAC. They had a bunch of clamp classes for the stock division, no wall division, mod division, and that's where again the white car just dominated. The white car is it does pretty good on all powers, but on clamp powers, it's just something else. It's a fun car on clamp power. I mean, for at least if you're talking kick scores, on like 5K right now, it does like a 63, 64 in the kick on 5K, which for most stock cars is unheard of.
Yep. So we
So
have a new class in DB drag called Freestyle,
Okay.
and Freestyle is essentially just what you just mentioned. So, so
Yeah,
it, say
Four to
again,
the B.
say that again, sir.
I said freestyle is more like kind of, put sensor 4 to the B pillar, door open, window down, or however you like, pretty much.
Yes, sir. So that's very similar to USAC Outlaw, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
USAC. The big difference in USAC is they have to use a globe, but
No, we use a globe also. Oh,
Okay.
We don't
Yeah,
have a
wait,
globe.
wait.
We have a sphere.
Yeah. Sphere. That's
We
what
have
it
a
is.
sphere. We don't have a globe. We have a sphere.
well, it'll work really similar to it. So very similar to USAC then, the layout.
Yeah, yes, they look strikingly similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strikingly.
So, if any of the people watching right now and in the chat, if they have any questions for Christopher Munson, go ahead and shoot them. I noticed you have an Apex Audio shirt on, Chris. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so Audio Apex, I kind of started up. Me and Dad started it up about last year, and what it is we actually had the opportunity. I'm sure a couple of people online have heard of it. It's called caraudiobargain.com or .com. And we actually had the ability to buy that. And me and Dad partnered in on it, and we bought into it, and that's what we turned Audio Apex into. So if you go to our website, it's still caraudiobargain.com, but we have our own line of amplifiers, the Audio Apex Cab series, which is we've got a 2K, a 5K, and then we got a 4-channel, and we got a 5-channel as well. So we got a couple different amps to offer to the public, and then we also are a full-time Sundown dealer, so we carry all lines of Sundown product. We also carry Crossfire, we carry Def Bonds. I'd say we carry about 5 or 6 different brands.
Okay, and so with all that, tell us about your move, because you were in eastern New Mexico or something. Oh,
Eastern New Mexico. So I was about 10 or 15 miles from the Texas border,
okay.
and I grew up my whole life. I was actually born in Portales. Portales is about 20 minutes from Clovis. And when I was about 6, 7 months old, my parents moved to Clovis, and I had been there my whole life and just wanted to get out, do something different. And with this opportunity, I was actually able to do that because we have two warehouses. We have an East Coast warehouse, which is still in Clovis, or the West Coast warehouse, I mean, that's still in Clovis, that supports the West Coast. So it supports California, New Mexico, Arizona. And we have the East Coast warehouse, which is in North Carolina, that we support the East Coast warehouse out of. And we actually rent a section of Sundown Audio to do the East Coast warehouse part of it. The East Coast warehouse is about 10,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Jeffrey, are you catching any comments in the chat that
Yeah, I'm finally seeing some. It's there seems to be a lag, but looks like Jeff Schultz here says, "Hell yeah, car audio bargain cab 45, the best budget amp out there."
That was our goal with it.
So
Just our
yeah,
goal was to be one of the best amps you can get in that price range for the power, or the best, best power you can get in that price range. So
tell us more
reliable.
about that. Tell us more about the amp. So I mean, what's the max wattage on it? What impedance? What voltage?
So the cab 45, we rated them at 4,500 watts at 1 ohm at 14.4 volts.
Okay.
We commonly see them, at least certified. Everybody today talks about dyno numbers, and certified dyno numbers, they're around 4,900, 5,000 watts. And we sell them for right now on the website, we have them for 539. So that was our goal with it, was to try and get 5K for around 500 bucks. And it's still a half bridge design. I didn't want to quite go to a full bridge design just because I saw how touchy they were. There is some good full bridge out there, but they're just kind of touchy at the moment. There's nothing that I've seen right now that makes me want to put my full faith into full bridge stuff.
Okay, so does that mean, are you guys moving to? I've heard a couple of manufacturers talk about moving towards regulated power supplies. Are you guys going to go that direction too?
We haven't looked into that yet. That would be really nice. The nice thing about regulated power supplies is they pretty much work on anything. And that's my first, first time I really played with those was on the JL amps. The JL Slash series and the HD series were regulated power supplies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really neat because they make their rated power no matter what you put them on. I mean, you could put those 1,200 watt amps in a car with a stock battery, stock charging system, stock alternator. You can be dropping to 11 volts and it's still going to make the rated power it's supposed to.
Right.
But they're just they're not as cost effective, and they're also not as efficient of an amplifier because as the voltage drops, they have to pull more current to make that power somehow.
Oh, you mean voltage times amperage equals power?
Yeah,
Weird.
exactly.
How odd. No, that's
with the original 1200s though. The original 1200s, when you got into low voltage, like, if you ever saw like 10.5 or 11 volts, they were pulling almost 200 amps of current to make 1,200 watts because that's what they had to do to make their power.
Right.
As this dropped, they just had to pull more and more current.
Yeah.
Versus an unregulated power supply doesn't do that. It just makes less and less power as you turn the voltage down.
Yep. We got Jody Green watching from Australia. They're in the middle of their season, so since it's summer down there. Only problem is they have COVID restrictions like nobody's business in Australia and New Zealand. So
they're probably getting trouble with social gatherings right now.
Yeah. Well, they have the thing I read online from, I believe it was Jody that posted it. Yeah, you're welcome to come to the show as long as you have your COVID passport. So, it shows your vaccination and New Zealand. That's right. So, yeah, so you just have to have your COVID card and then you're welcome to go. I saw a great video online where this lady was standing on her porch, and I don't know if it was Australia or New Zealand. I just know it was down under. And she's standing there and she goes, "So you're telling me if I cross that line, you're going to arrest me?" And he goes, "Yes, I am. And we're going to charge you $5,000. And she goes,
"No,
I don't want to get the vaccine." Said, "That's fine. Stay on your porch." I was like, that's very interesting and different than the United States, because we don't put we try to put restrictions on our people here. But, if we try to confine people to their houses on a COVID thing, holy good crap, would this country have a problem with that? We aren't as kind to that kind of
No, I mean,
governmental control.
I would think that would just be asking for a civil war to break out if you're trying to control people at that level.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There are countries that accept that. Our friends up in Bridgetown, Barbados, she was telling me they actually have a bus that comes in the middle of the night and you get test positive and they come and swoop you up and you disappear for a couple weeks.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so, and everybody's totally fine with that there. So it's just it's a different mentality than we grew up with. And for those people that are watching right now, Jeffrey and I have already discussed. We're not going to talk much about rules or anything like that tonight because tonight is really going to be focused on Chris because this is definitely Christopher's thing. He's been doing a great job in the car audio world.
Yes.
He's a big part of Audio Apex. The last time I called, I think if you call Audio Apex, don't you answer the phone quite often there, Chris?
I answer it from time to time. I typically have Jacob or Kyle answer it, but I do answer it from time to time. Just depends on where we're at throughout the day. I typically, like I said, Jacob's usually the guy that mans the phone, but if he's busy or Kyle's busy, I'll grab the phone if I have to. So
Yeah.
there's a few times you may catch me.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I said, you did some great things. In Bridgetown, Barbados, Tristan, he asked, could you talk more about the difference in performance between the Audi and the CRX?
Yeah, so the biggest limitation of the Audi was the shape of the back of the car. It had a really short hatch opening. It was really, really small at the back. So any kind of box that you had, it was really became a narrow restriction. And you just couldn't get energy around the box. Versus the CRX is much deeper because it's a front wheel drive car. The Audi was all wheel drive, so it had room for the drivetrain. And the CRX is front wheel drive, so the floor pan is much deeper. And you still don't have a ton of room in a CRX, but you have quite a bit more room than you do in an Audi for equipment or box or whatever you're trying to do, whatever your goals are. So you just have a lot more capabilities in that car.
What do you think, Jeffrey? No walls. Maybe it's an advantage to have extra room around the backside of your box.
Sometimes, I've tried it both. So I mean, you want to have all that space back there. If you're trying to do, that's why we don't really see CRXs in no wall,
Right.
because of the limited amount of space. But in other organizations like Chris here, he's had success in his CRX and no wall type vehicles type setup. So
it also depends on what org you're doing. I mean,
right.
the CRXs do really good for USAC stuff or
Right.
kicks like that. But if you're going to do dash, I mean, a no wall caravan is going to dominate a CRX on the dash. A well built caravan usually will. I mean,
No.
will just dominate on
That was Jeffrey's vehicle of choice, in case you didn't know.
No,
that.
it was a Plymouth Voyager.
Oh yeah, that's not a Dodge Caravan, a Plymouth Voyager.
You mean the caravan?
Yeah. Any other questions that you're seeing, Jeffrey, pop up there on the Facebook side?
Let's see here.
While he's looking
Curtis,
real quick. Oh, go ahead.
Curtis Lyon says, Chris, are you going to compete in USAC again?
I don't know. I may compete time, here and there, but I'm so busy right now with the schedule and with Audio Apex. I made some time to do some stuff, but I don't know if I can really go full time. It'd be fun. I just don't know if I'm going to have the time to do it. I may go to a show here and there and just play around, but I don't think I can actually. We're not sure yet if I can actually get back into it at that level and maintain the business.
So that brings up a question for me. Dragging Maine, are you guys going to do that again this year?
That's a question I'm going to have to ask Dad, honestly, because he's still in Clovis. He kind of does any, he organizes any event changes for that just because he's there. I'm in North Carolina now. I don't really have ties to that.
Okay.
It'd be cool. Really good for the community. Dragon Main's been a really popular event in that area. Draws a good crowd. It's a cool car show too. I mean, even for people that may not be into the car audio part of it, it's a cool car show. You can see a lot of cool cars out there.
No, that's awesome. Your dad talked to me about coming out there and doing it one time. It just didn't work out for me to get out there.
Yeah.
But it's I do I appreciate what he does. It seems to me, I don't know personally, but it does seem. I mean, your dad's a great guy, and it seems to me that he really likes to put back to the community and whatnot. And I really see that coming. I mean, whether it be the car audio community or just the community there in Clovis for the people, it seems like
Yeah.
he's always doing something to try and give back to what he enjoys.
Yeah, we try to, and with Dragon Main, we really try to give back to especially our customers there, because a lot, they would see me, for instance, they would see me competing at a national level, and we never had anything around that like that in that small town. So a lot of people either didn't get a chance to play or didn't quite understand it. So when you brought it there, it really they had a lot of fun with it. I mean, everybody that had a small system to big systems came out and had a fun time
That's
there.
awesome. You catch anything else there, Jeffrey, on the Facebook side?
No, but actually, I had a
Oh,
question.
go ahead.
So, if you kind of have a say in it, Chris, I mean, would you say which would you choose? Wanting to compete again or being focused on the audio apex?
That's a tough decision. I get
Hmm.
the
Oh yeah,
I get the urge to compete from time to time again, but I also know that I've just got so much on my plate right now I can't. It would be
yeah.
really cool to set it up to where I can do both. If I get back into competing, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do it at the level I really like to, or that I used
Hmm.
to do, just
Yeah.
because I'm busy with right now. But I would like to get back into it again at some point, at least play.
Yeah, well, that's when you start hiring staff,
Yeah,
you can do some delegation, right? You're the boss, right? You're the
yeah,
boss. So you start hiring people to do all that manual labor, and then you're just, in there in the warehouse with your vehicle. Easy, right?
yeah. Possibly, we'll just have to see what the future holds.
Easier said than done, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it seems like every time I go to finals, it's like when I start getting that itch again, it's like, man, a lot of these guys, are competing and doing really well, and maybe I should get back into it. So
yeah.
I understand your feelings. I know where you're
Especially,
coming from.
especially when you go to finals, man. I mean, even if first time I went to any kind of finals event just as a spectator, the same thing happened to me. I was like, I need to
Yeah,
do this. I was like, I
yeah.
need to again, and I was like, but I just don't have the time.
So,
You
so
get
that
that itch. You get that itch. You got to scratch it.
so that
Yeah.
absolutely brings me to that point of somebody that's just watching this and is not a competitor or is somebody on the fence. What would you say to somebody that's not a competitor or on the fence about attending a show or becoming part of a show?
If if you've never been to a show, never been to an SPL contest, I would at least go once to see how you like it. There's some people that go. The thing is, like you can meet a lot of cool people there, even if you're not an SPL guy. There's always demo guys there.
Hmm.
I can't tell you how many demo guys go to their first show and they may not click with the SPL guys, but they find a fun, cool crowd to go with their demo guys. And the same thing with SPL guys. They find more, you just find people that fit your same niche,
Right.
I guess. It
Very
make,
like-minded people.
yeah, very like-minded. And they're both there. I mean, there's hardcore SPL guys. That's where I met Andrew. That's where I met Manny. That's where a lot of competitors throughout the country I met at SPL contests. Even demo guys. While demo guys, our mindsets were different, I still got along with them just fine. They were cool to chat with, cool people to meet.
No, absolutely. Another thing, so people that don't know, so I met your dad back in 2000 or 2001,
Okay.
and your dad was a very large person then. He had
Yeah.
the orange pumpkin,
Hmm.
and he did not fit very well inside it. Obviously, now he's lost a bunch of weight. I swear to you, when I saw you, Chris, I was like, Nathan? I
Yeah.
swear to you, well, because it'd been a pretty good span. It'd been like 12 years since I seen your dad, right?
Yeah.
And whatever that was, and I see you there, and I'm going, Nathan, and because I
Yeah.
didn't realize, I heard he lost weight, but I didn't see, and then I saw you, and you obviously were much bigger than you are now, and
Yeah.
but you are looking way better, sir. I will have to
I,
say that. Did you do the same as your dad? Go with the surgery and
yeah. So this was probably into 2016, October 2016. It was actually right after finals. So I actually got gastric. It was DB Drag Finals 2016. Right afterwards, about a week after, I got gastric bypass surgery.
mm-hmm.
And I was at my heaviest then. I was about 425. And when I got the gastric bypass, I on surgery alone and just dieting, because you're forced to
Right.
diet because you can't eat near as much.
Right.
That was my drug addiction. It wasn't alcohol or drugs. It was food. I was a food guy.
Hmm.
And so with the surgery, I was able to get down to, about 220, 230. And at that point, I'd actually never really worked out a whole ton of my life because I'd always been big. I was never in good physical shape to really work out and push myself.
Hmm.
And once I got down to about 220, 230, I was able to start running. And I got into this huge kick where I would run, at the start, I would only run about a half mile. But by the time I was done, I would run, I'd go for 8 or 9 mile run. And I got down to 165 doing that.
Dang, that's pretty
And then
good. Do you feel much
I just,
healthier that way? And
oh yeah, I had so much more energy. I remember being, when I was 400 pounds, I would go to work. It got so bad to the point I would go to work, and 30 minutes into a work day, I would just felt like I had worked a 9 hour day. I just was beat. And once I lost all the weight, especially, I'd never been that small. I was like, I can't believe how much more energy I have. Don't have to carry that around anymore. I just couldn't believe how much more energy I had losing that.
And I'm sure it was much easier getting in and out of that car, under the car, to run wires, and I'm sure
Oh
that
yeah,
was a lot easier.
installing became far easier. Whether it was working on my own personal car or customers' cars, installing became, like clockwork when I lost all that weight.
Yep. No, I like I said, you guys, you and your dad look much better now. Your dad killed the pounds, and he looks way healthier now. Looks
Yeah.
great. You're well on your way, obviously. So you're looking good and much healthier than the first time I saw you. So
Hmm.
congratulations, and I just want everybody to know too that this show, yeah, we are talking about car audio, but it's the people that are involved in the car audio, and we want, that's why we ask you about stuff like this, because we want the whole person, right? We're not talking just his only his car audio stuff. Everything about you, and get people involved in you, and stand behind you. I'm sure you got a lot of support on your weight loss still, I bet.
Yep. I got a lot of support along the way, and I hear it probably every other day. Somebody comments on it still, even though it was coming up on almost 5 years ago now. People still got stuff to say about it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's well deserved though, right? I mean, I understand the surgery part, but you still had to do the work, because some people get that gastric bypass and literally get back to the same weight they were before.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've had a couple buddies who did the same thing. They got the same surgery as me and dad, and they lost weight from the start and ended up putting it back on, because they get, you get set in your old ways, and you keep pushing it, and you get back in your old ways again, and you just start putting on pounds.
yep. But a good thing to do is start hanging out with Jeffrey and doing some of that jujitsu stuff. That
Yeah, I'm
that
telling
knocks
you,
off some
dude.
weight. I'm
I
sure.
bet.
You'll be drowned in a pool of your own sweat by the end of like a half-hour class or something like
I,
that. So hey, that'll get you going.
oh, for sure. That sounds extremely strenuous.
Hey,
So,
but that's awesome. I mean, you know, I think when I first heard of you, like everyone else, like you're saying here, like Doug was saying, whoa, is that Nathan, or and then to kind of see your journey from where you were and how you are now just shows basically the discipline you have, and it makes it no wonder you're a world champion, world record holder. So, good job.
Oh,
Keep
thank
doing
you.
it.
yep. Um, uh, so the other question, okay, so like, we have some typical questions we like to ask, like, so what's your favorite show that you've ever attended?
My favorite show I've ever attended?
Yes, sir.
I probably have to say, man, that's a tough one. I've been to a lot. Um, man, I may have to say Dragon Main. Dragon Main the second year was actually really cool because it was on the lake. Or it was right. They closed off this road that ran right next to the city lake, and it was just really cool. The weather was perfect. It was just really nice. That was probably one of the best shows I had been to. Actually, was Dragon Main the second year. The first year was pretty cool too. It was inside the actual convention center, but the next year we had done it outside, and everything just played out so well, and the weather was perfect.
So, but you're dragging main the second year. Isn't that the year? Didn't you give away like $3,000 or $4,000 to the deathmatch winner that year
Yeah, that was the year Joe Price came down. Joe actually had a van time.
from Colorado, right?
He lived in Mississippi, but we
Oh,
had all
okay.
kinds of competitors come out. We actually had 3 or 4. We had 3 deathmatch classes, I think, because what we did is we actually all did qualifying rounds, and the 4 lap guys went against each other. Then the middle tier guys went against each other, and then I think the 3rd class was a no wall class. But it was really cool, man, watching the deathmatch guys go at it. And I remember that it was a really neat show. We had Lenny come out. Lenny's a guy from Minnesota, I think, or Iowa area. He's a Midwest SPL competitor.
Okay.
He has a truck they're called the Red Rocket. It's 618s. At the time, it was 618s. It's a really cool truck and really nice guy. He came out and hung out. Joe was out there. We were out there. I remember Clinton Butchram was out there. There was a lot of cool people that came all the way to Clovis to come check it out. We had a lot of fun.
Yep. No, that's awesome. I mean, and if you guys have drag in Maine, Jeffrey's not too far if you guys want to add DB drag to that thing.
Hey.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, he's currently in the Dallas area, right? So
Yeah.
Dallas ain't too far. How far of a drive is that from Clovis?
I think it's about a 7-8 hour drive, I think.
Yeah, that's a walk in the park for Jeffrey.
Oh yeah. Yeah, coming from California, whenever I drive up north, it'd be like minimum 8 hours, 10-hour drive. So
yeah.
These drives. But I recall doing a show out in New Mexico. It was I think King Kong Customs. I think you were there too, right?
That first met Kurt and Andrew actually, and that was Confusion. And I remember because Andrew had the blue van, and Kurt was just getting into Kurt just opened the car audio shop, but he had never really competed in SPL. He was really interested in it, but never really dabbled with it.
Yeah,
and that was the first big show we had that really got him hooked. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what we had there was a concert. I remember taking pictures with Paul Wall and Chameleonaire, and it was a cool show. Yeah, me and Andy did it. He actually, I think we drove from. I flew out to his place, and then from Idaho we drove all the way to New Mexico, and not knowing what was going to happen, and we had a fun time there.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, so is there a world finals or one of your rings that sticks out more than the other ones? Is it your first one? Is it your does one ring stick out more for you than all the rest of your championships?
There's one that sticks out. Well, there's 3 from one year that stick out, and that was the year in USAC. They may have changed the rules since then, or they may have. Honestly, I haven't looked at the USAC rule book in probably 2 years now, or a year and a half.
Okay.
But basically, my Rex at the time was a stock car, meaning it had stock interiors, a street vehicle, and I took it and I ran the stock division, the no wall division, and the mod division. And in mod, that's the wall division, kind of like how DB Drag has Super Street.
Okay.
They ran the stock, no wall, and mod division, and I ended up winning all 3 divisions with the stock car, and that was pretty cool. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So you won all 3 divisions with one particular vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So
and the time was very different because you could run multiple classes at an SPL show, one vehicle, versus DB Drag. You can run one SPL class and one base race class.
That's correct. So yeah, that is a difference. We actually, when base race started, we were allowing competitors to enter multiple base race classes. So one guy might be able to do 29, 39, and 49. We did that for almost a year, and then we cut it down. So it is what it is. I know guys that love to do it. Brian Nyman was one of the guys. I mean, that guy, he would go in and win the 29, 39, and 49 at a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
But be able to control your system at all those levels. I mean, if it's capable of hitting 49.9 and being able to control it at a 29.9 level, that's knowing your system pretty well.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of practice. I mean, it's a lot of averaging that is tough, especially if you have to go round after round after round after round.
Yep.
Very tedious work.
It is. So we went over your favorite show. So have you been to Slamology?
I have. I've been to Slam.
and that's actually a pretty good show. Are you guys going to go as Audio Apex again, or as a booth
Oh,
at Slam this year?
yeah, we went this last year, and we'll probably set up a booth again. It was a
Okay.
lot of fun. We actually took we got a demo vehicle right now. It's Kyle's truck. It's a Clippo, and it's actually really cool. So it's an extreme vehicle, and it does 80s, and it still demos, and it demos. I mean, it plays all the way down to 25. It does like a 65 at 25 and a 75 at like 35. So it still plays with a ton
Wow.
down low
Sick.
and demos it well. And that was the first big show we had taken it to after all the cabin modifications we done to it. We had a lot of fun this last year going. The biggest thing about Slam though, man, is the heat. The heat just kicks your butt out there.
Hey, you know, it
It-
wasn't too bad last year though. It was actually decent, but the humidity, because
Yeah.
I'm from where I'm from, we do not have humidity, and good lord, was there a lot of humidity at Slam.
Yeah, and that'll get you on the East Coast because New Mexico for me was the same way. It would get hot there, but we didn't have any humidity in New Mexico. But the East Coast, if it gets hot and it's humid, it'll just wipe you out.
Oh yeah,
It's just humidity's something else.
no, absolutely. So with all that, somebody did ask over here, your 45, your cab 45, does it take up to 16 volts? Does it take up to 18 volts? Where does that amplifier like to play?
The operating voltage on the Cab 45 is from 9 volts to 16 volts.
Okay, so 16.2, you're in the danger zone.
Yeah, 16.2, 16.3, you're getting to the danger zone. There's multiple people that have done them at 16.0 though with good results.
Okay, there you go. Because one thing DB Drag is talking to the competitors currently about is changing the voltage limits in the street class as a potential. And if that is the case, it doesn't really matter because it's power, right? It's voltage times amperage. So
Yeah,
as a judge, in my opinion, I don't give a rat's butt if it's running 35 volts, because all I care about is the output wattage is 1,000 watts, 2,000 watts, or 5,000 watts, right?
with today's modern amp technology, having a bump to 16 volts may not really be that needed because a lot of modern amps, I mean, they've got
Exactly. Yeah.
supplies in them now. I mean,
Yep.
all the current model amps that you get today are set up for 12 volt. The 16 and 18 volt amps are kind of becoming a thing of the past.
They are,
Yeah.
and we actually discussed that. But the thing is people are using the lithium battery cells, putting them together, and they like to sit at around 15.3. And
Gotcha.
currently our max voltage is 15, so
Yeah.
that bumps them all out. So that's why we were suggesting 16 as the number.
Yeah, I mean that could work too. 16 allows those guys to all fall under the same rules and compete again
Yes.
without breaking the voltage restrictions.
Yep. Otherwise, I mean, the guys have to bleed down their batteries, and that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Well,
And the problem is, depending on what batteries they're using too, is like something like a C-Max at 15 volts is relatively dead in comparison to what it wants to actually be at. I mean, a C-Max
right.
charge wants to be at 16.8. Is actually 100% state of charge on a built C-Max. So if you run it at 15 or 14.4, while it works, it's really dead there. Actually, I mean it'll still make power, but it won't make near the power it will in the 16s.
Okay. Yeah, we actually had Limitless Lithium on here a few weeks ago talking about his batteries. So, and we had a pretty good conversation about the lithium versus AGM and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Like I said, and for anybody watching, listening to this right now, if you want to go back, you can look up the Limitless Lithium. Just search it on any of our streaming platforms. That's iHeart, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Podbean, any of the other ones. If there's something that you cannot get it streamed on, let me know, and I will make it available. It's just a matter of finding it, clicking a couple of buttons, and get my information inserted, and we can get it on those platforms. Right now we're on, I don't know, at least 9 different platforms for the audio podcast. Those audio podcasts are usually available the following day. There's some thing going on with YouTube right now where it's not letting me download the information off of YouTube. So once that all gets worked out again, it was working really good for a while where I was able to put up the audio podcast like within an hour of the show. But right now, like I said, it's not letting me do that. Once again, so people watch and listen to this, if you're on Facebook, smash the angry button. That helps our algorithm because that for some reason it's whatever. But I read a thing on Facebook. People that are mad at things tend to pool together. That's why the mad face kind of bumps us up in the algorithm. So appreciate that. On YouTube, hit a thumbs up and like the video. Also, put a comment, not just in the chat portion, but put a comment on the video. That helps bump our ratings up also on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm only at like 265 subscribers currently on YouTube. If I can get to 1,000, that's going to help us out and make us monetizable. Another
We need
thing.
you to unbutton a button there, Doug, and then maybe we can get some more viewers. Yeah, there you go. No, put it back on. Put it back on. Sorry.
But if you'd like to donate to, just real quick for everybody to know, Jeffrey is currently going to be my host, and we're going to see how that goes. But right now, that's my plan, is to have Jeffrey on full time as my new co-host with this thing. A great thing about Jeffrey is he's a world champion, as you guys met last week. He's also a judge for the Dallas, Texas area, and then also SoCal. So if something's coming on in those areas, he can actually let you know about that and talk towards that. Speaking of which, callers callouts back east on March, I think 23rd or 24th, if he's still in here.
It's 26th.
Is it 26th? Okay, so callers callouts. Once we get shows going again, Jeffrey and I will end every podcast showing the video or showing up the calendar with the upcoming shows like we did before. But right now our show season's down. Also, I heard that Ray is going to do a show at Lunford's Customs in Sacramento on the 20th. What do you know what Ray Pimley does? It's Ayahuasca. Is that what he does?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so he'll be doing Ayahuasca at Lunsford Customs. Then we will be there the following weekend on the 27th, and that is like 99% sure when I'm done with this podcast. I got to run to the bowling alley and confirm that's not the same day that I have my bowling tournament. And once I confirm that, then we will lock in that day. But Lunsford's going to have an Ayahuasca event on the 20th for sure. It's already been approved through his landlord, and we're looking for the 27th possibly also. Okay, so we got all that. Just want to get that out of the way. Oh, also, if you guys want to donate to the podcast, remember, I'm going to share this stuff 100% with Jeffrey since he is now my co-host. So you can send us tips at Venmo at SonicFX, Cash App, $ SonicFX. Also, we are going to slightly change some things up where I am going to start accepting sponsorships from manufacturers or whoever, and we'll put that on there. We'll have a commercial portion of the show, and help cover some of our costs. The cost here, Jeffrey came in at a good time. We paid for the whole year already. Lucky and I did, so so you got a bonus this time. But there are costs involved. There's a lot of time involved, trying to get a hold of Chris. I appreciate his time, absolutely, for him popping in here and talking to us. But there's some prep work to go on and the programming and setting stuff up. And as you can see, I got a new background. Got Jeffrey right here. There. There he is. So I got Jeffrey right there on my for my background. The picture there is from this last year World Finals. We got Greg in the lanes versus that's a no-wall van right there.
Right.
Ricky Garcia, and I saw him posted in here. So as in Sam, I already said we're not going to talk much about rules Just so you know, Sam asked a rules question. We're not going to talk about today's show is about Chris. We're trying to get Wayne on here to have a discussion about rules, and we'll see how that goes. Celeste may be coming on soon to talk about her back, how she's been part of DB Drag and how she helps out and with Wayne and all that stuff. I got a question from Team Gigawatt. He's out of Jeffries area, Southern California. It says, "Hey Chris, do you offer a upcharge on the remagnetization of higher motor force on the subs if I send them to you?"
That's honestly a question I haven't been asked yet. I mean, all it would probably cost is just the shipping and then to zap it. I mean, zapping it is probably, that's what we in-house call it, zapping, is when we use the magnetizer. I would imagine, it's probably around 15, $20 a motor to actually use magnetizer plus the cost of shipping.
Okay. And round trip shipping is not cheap on a subwoofer, especially when you're trying to remagnetize, I'm guessing. And for Eli, just so you know, there's probably 3 houses at least in Southern California that are close by that could probably do it too. Just saying. They'll save you a ton of money in the shipping. All right. Anything else you're seeing over there, Jeffrey?
Not really too much right now.
Okay. So I do have a question though, Chris. Are you a fan of the movie Kingpin?
Yes, I've seen the movie.
Oh,
dude,
nice.
How often do you have to talk about being Munson?
Oh, dude, at finals, there's actually my buddy Luke at finals actually had a bunch of stickers made that he was passing out at USAC finals.
Oh, did he? What'd they say?
They said get Munson, and they were just some random decals he had made. I was like, oh man, he was just doing that fooling around, but he got that reference from Kingpin.
Yeah. No, that's a awesome movie. I'm a bowler myself. I enjoy that movie. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm good friends with probably 30 people in that movie. So it just happened to be that time when that movie was being filmed is when I was heavy into the upper echelon of bowling community. So I bowled semi-pro events, pro events. I was involved with a lot of those guys. Yeah, Dave Bradshaw with Doug's being the big earn. So I took an awesome picture. So I was at the bowling stadium, which is where the final scene is filmed in that movie, National Bowling Stadium in Reno. And a lady friend of mine that she bowls, her husband's one of the top amateur bowlers in the world. Anyway, so she was bowling next to me. I look over, and she's got the rose ball. And so I put it right there at the foul line and got a picture of that rose ball at the bowling stadium. That was awesome. Yeah. I posted it on my Facebook page. It was awesome.
Oh, heck yeah.
So, because I'm a big fan of that and whatnot too. So, you're awesome. Thank you, Chris. That's what from Team Gigawatt Eli has to say.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. So we're rolling up on an hour. We're at 53 minutes in so far. We like to run these things right at about an hour because that works really good. So Chris, the last question. What is your version of a bass head? What's your definition?
Man, honestly, the definition of a bass head for me is just somebody that has fun doing it. For me, I mean, I'm an SPL competitor. I've been a hardcore SPL competitor. But to me, it really doesn't matter if you're somebody that does a 130 or a 180. If you're having fun doing it, that's all that matters.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely that's a common one. I would say most of our guests is, hey, if you enjoy doing it and enjoy being around people that do it, that's a bass head.
Especially if it's one of those things that you really enjoy. Going to a show is one of the coolest things because you meet people that have a common interest. Mm-hmm. You can make a lot of shows just because of that common interest. You can talk about car audio, and then it'll spiral off into other things. I mean, there could be a lot of other common interests that you have with people, but at a car audio show, it really allows you to meet those people and see it for yourself. There's a lot of cool people at those shows that have a lot of common interests that with other people. So.
Yeah, and you would have never met him if you didn't go to the car audio show, right? I mean,
exactly.
What are my chances of ever meeting Jeffrey if it wasn't for DB Drag? Almost none, right? So,
exactly.
And Jeffrey's a cool guy, right? I mean,
Yeah,
look
he's
look
good,
at
man.
that. He's a movie star. He's a gaming star.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
He's a world champion. You know.
Well, I mean, this all goes back to the start too, when Dad got me into it. If it wasn't for Dad honestly getting me into it, I wouldn't have had a chance to meet any of you guys.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's the honest truth. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have a chance to meet Jeffrey. I wouldn't have a chance to meet you. I wouldn't have a chance to meet Roger. I wouldn't have a chance to meet Jake.
Andrew and Jay. Yeah.
I wouldn't have a chance to meet any of the car audio competitors, and then all the manufacturers. I would have never had that opportunity if it wasn't for him getting me into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, hey, tell us about your sponsors, where people can get a hold of you, your equipment, that kind of thing. Maybe see you next, that kind of stuff.
Where you'll probably see me next is I think that there is a show that we're gonna take Clippo to in March. I think it's the TDH show. It's either TDH or it could be Caller's Call Out. I forget. It honestly comes down to Kyle. It's his truck. But you can catch me at one of those shows. As far as the equipment goes, you can find all of our equipment on our website. There's links to it on the website. And you're more than welcome to also call in and ask us questions about equipment, or if you need input on what kind of equipment to buy, or what exactly you're looking for, or even just there's common tech support questions I get daily from people either trying to figure out how to do something or what direction they need to go in with their setup.
Okay. So, and what's the web address so people can?
The web address is www.caraudiobargain.com.
Without the S, right? Car Audio Bargain.
Yep, without the S.
Cool. One more thing, Jeffrey, for you and I, kind of on the air meeting thing. I would love to do a giveaway that we can try and drive up viewership and whatnot. So
let's do it. I love giveaways.
Yeah, me too. So let's talk about giveaways. Talk to some of the manufacturers, Rockford, Apex, Crossfire, whoever. I mean, just simple. It could be T-shirts. It doesn't have to be high-end stuff, right? So let's start working towards that, and let's build up viewership through giveaways.
Yes.
Sound
I agree.
reasonable?
I agree. Let's do it.
Okay. Jeffrey, you got anything coming up that we need to know about?
I am actually hosting an event in Grapevine, Texas. It's going to be at Crossfire headquarters. It's going to be a DB drag racing event, as well as a U.S.A.C.A. So if you guys are listening, you guys are nearby, hey, come check out the show. We also got, other formats. It's not just DB drag. We got base race, cyclone, we got freestyle. I know a lot of the guys out there in Texas are loving that freestyle right now. So hey, let's keep it going, and we'll see you at finals. So hey, got that going on this weekend. See you guys there.
All right. And for me, like we say every show, if you want to support us, no $100 is too small for us. We'll take any $100 you want to give us. Along with that, the best way to get this type of community to grow and be better, and the shows to be better, the more people are at shows, the better those shows are. Absolutely. Every time we talk to somebody is when they went to a big show, and that was what's really cool, and they really loved it. So to make these shows better, the way you do that is bring somebody with you. So bring somebody with you at every show you go, and they will get hooked just like anybody else. It happened to Christopher. It happened to Nathan. It happened to Jeffrey. It happened to me. A friend brought us to a show. Next thing you know, we're like, dude, I got to do this. And not only that, but I got to be the best at doing this.
Exactly. That's how you catch the bug.
It's like a drug, right?
Yes.
Funny you bring that up. Actually, Dad found a picture the other day, or no, Sal actually. One of my partners actually found a picture the other day. It was him and Dad at it was actually the first DB drag show. I think it was IASCA final 94 or 95. They found a picture of both. There's a picture from them all the way back in 94, 95. It was just crazy to see. It was a time capsule.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the other thing cool. I don't know about the other organizations because I'm only a DB drag judge, but you go onto the DB drag and you know you were at a show in 2000. You can click on that show and you can see pictures from that event.
What's funny
And
about that event too is I'm actually confident, Jeffrey. I think Roger was at that event too.
Yeah, I think there was a video that surfaced online, and we were actually
with Wayne,
watching it today.
Wayne in his
was
hair.
there. Wayne
Yeah,
in
Wayne.
his hair. Hey, Solis had a rock star haircut too. We
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
looking at, but yeah, Roger was there and looking, rather guapo, as we like to say. But yeah, he was there, and he was telling me about all these other competitors that were there, and I was like, what? No way, really? So
Yeah.
we're making memories here. We're making memories. It's more than just an organization. It's something, an outlet for us, right? We get
Yeah.
to compete. We get to make history. And we can just go back on it and be like, man, I was there. I was there.
Well, the thing about car audio enthusiasts is they don't look at it like some sort of job or profession. They truly look at it as hobbyists, and hobbyists have fun. They don't necessarily go at it to be the best. They just go to have fun, and that's what
Mhm.
majority of the car audio guys are there doing, is just having a good time hanging out with fellow car audio guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys, we hit the 1 hour mark. I think that we had great conversation with you guys there. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you, Christopher Munson. Dude,
Doug,
awesome talking to you again. Like I said, your accomplishments are yours. They're not your dad's by any means. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they're your dad's. But if they ever did, they're absolutely wrong. Your dad's let me know quite emphatically that he just helped guide you a little bit, and it definitely was all you. So
yeah, he helped me guide me, but he definitely has accomplishments of his own too. So.
oh, he does. He absolutely does, and it's great to see a second generation with their own accomplishments, and
Yeah.
and meeting and possibly even exceeding your dad's accomplishments with the number of championships. So
Yep.
that's always really cool to see. So
Man, how many people could say that? Second generation.
yeah,
Wow, especially in this,
yeah. Well,
this sport.
Ricky.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Ricky Garcia, he's a second generation. I remember when he was coming in the lanes, the guy was like 5, 6 years old, and he was coming with his dad to shows.
Wow.
And now he's 20 or 19, and he was third this year in no walls, or second in no walls, or something like that. So
Yeah.
That's how I started. I remember going to shows with Dad when I was 4 or 5 years old, and he was running.
Dang.
yeah,
He
you're
was
that
probably the
old,
one
Jeffrey.
driving it.
Yeah.
What's that?
What was that?
I said that's how old you are, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I'm serious.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you for coming in. Look for giveaways. Jeffrey or I will post something about that. We'll get this handled and get some giveaways going. Try and drive up some viewership. We're pretty much stalled at around 1,000 views and downloads a week. So let's try and drive that up. I'd love to see it get to 3,000 to 5,000. Would be awesome. And remember, we do this to help the community and make it all better. Get camaraderie, reach out to other parts of the world, people doing the same thing. If you guys see Christopher at a show, come on up to him, shake his hand. Hey, Christopher, I saw you on, This Week in Car Audio. Congratulations, and let him know that you're a fan of his. He definitely has done the work to become a fan, to be somebody to be admired and looked up to. So, Calvin says, make sure you join Jeff's OnlyFans page.
Yes, we're on all the social networking websites.
Yes, his is Boomin' Audio. Jeffrey's doing Boomin' Audio. Sonic
Okay.
We're
FX.
on, yeah.
Sonic FX. We're only on Facebook and YouTube. So, but anyway, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening on the podcast. And we will see you guys next Monday night at 6 p.m. on This Week in Car Audio.